This video will take you through the Inside Passage of Alaska, history of the cities visited, glaciers, and shore excursions. It is all about experiencing the stunning coastal.
Hello, everyone. How you doing today? I hope everything is good. Staying safe. Want to welcome you to the Supplier Spotlight Series, Experience Alaska with Princess, the Inside Passage. A couple notes before we get started. There's a question and answer box, so if you have any questions, feel free to post in those, and we'll answer those questions at the end of the webinar. So appreciate you being here, and we will get started. So in the Inside Passage, the highlights that we're going to deal with today are the key motivators of why people like to travel to Alaska and what they like to do. We're going to look at the 2021 sailings as they will be next year and how many there are and at what times of the year. We'll deal with the Princess in Alaska and then something about Alaska, and then we'll deal with the different cruise ports that the cruise lines visit. Then we'll share some offers we have on groups that are out there for you, and then we'll deal with questions and answers at that point in time at the end. So moving now into the key motivators for booking Alaska, if you see the chart there, the glaciers, 94% are reporting this feature as a motivator. Wildlife, second, mountains third, along with Glacier National Park and Denali National Park. Coming in 6th and 7th is Ride Alaska Railroad and Cruise the Inside Passage. So there's a lot of different reasons why people travel there, and all of those things are available to every one of you as guests if you so choose to go. Moving now into the 2021 Alaska sailings, from the middle of May till the middle of September, there are 1,370 Alaska sailings scheduled on 17 different cruise lines. So when you break them down, some of those cruise lines are less than 12%, some are 12%, Norwegian is 6%, Celebrity 7%, Royal Caribbean 9%, and Holland America 16%. But Princess, 50% of the sailings are with Princess. And when we say sailings, we're talking about their cruise tours, we're talking about their inside passage, all the different types of availability that we have during that 17-week period for those sailings. And when you break Princess down, that 50%, they are doing 686 different itineraries over those 17 weeks. That with 8 ships, and you break that down, that's 40 per week. That's 8 per ship, or 5 per ship, I'm sorry. And so you can tell that Princess is definitely #1 in Alaska because they do far more and have more for every individual to be able to see. So I want to share a video with you now, just dealing with Princess and what they have, or give you an idea of what they do.
Hi, thanks for joining us this afternoon. I wanted to give you a little bit of insight about Alaska. When you look at a map of the 50 states that make up the US, Alaska is typically shown down in the lower left corner with Hawaii. And in comparison to the mainland states, it appears to be about a third of the size of Texas. Well, actually, this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, at 570,000 square miles, as you can see, Alaska is 2.5 times the size of Texas, 10 times the size of Florida, and 16 times the size of my home state of Indiana. So in square miles, it's the equivalent to the entire eastern seaboard, spanning from Maine in the north, south to Florida, and west all the way to Tennessee. Very different from that little postage stamp in the bottom corner of the map. But despite the expansiveness of Alaska, it only has a population of 730,000. So it ranks at the 48th state in its number of residents, coming in ahead only of Vermont and Wyoming. And just to give you a little perspective, for instance, if Manhattan had the same amount of people per square mile, there would only be 29 people living there. And that would definitely change the traffic. And as Steve had noted, one of the big draws of Alaska is the wildlife. And Alaska has the largest concentration of animals anywhere on Earth. The wildlife is very diverse and abundant, with grizzly bears, polar bears, caribou and moose, Dall sheep, goats, eagles, whales, salmon, just to name a few. So no matter where you travel across the state, there is plenty to see. But if you're more into the majesty of the landscape, there's 45,000 miles of coastline. And just as an FYI, the US has 55,000. So almost all of it is in Alaska. It has more than 3,000 rivers, 3 million lakes, and of the 20 tallest mountains in the US, 17 of them are in Alaska, including the highest peak in North America, Denali, found in Denali National Park. So whether you like to kayak on the peaceful waters or hit the rapids, hike through the rainforest, or make the climb for a magnificent vista, Alaska has it all. So next I kind of want to give you an idea of the different regions of Alaska. There's 5 different distinctive regions, as you can see on the map. In the far north, otherwise known as the Arctic, it's very arid and desert-like with no trees, but it's very abundant in wildlife. The climate here is what you would be expecting for an area north of the Arctic Circle. Very long, cold winters and short, cool summers. During some weeks in the winter, the sun does not even rise. And in the summer, it can be up for 24 hours. So however, despite 24 hours of sunshine in the summer, the average temperature only gets barely above freezing at 34 degrees. And snow can fall any time of the year. I'm not one much for snow, so that does not sound exciting to me. Despite facing months of twilight and bitter cold every winter, it gets very alive in the summer with millions of the migratory waterfowl. Moving south, the next one is the interior, and that includes like the Yukon Territory and the Klondike, and it's best described as extreme. Some of the very hottest and coldest temperatures in Alaska occur around the area near Fairbanks, which is about in the middle of the interior. The summers can have temperatures reaching into the 90s, and in the winter it can fall below -50. Precipitation generally sparse during the year, peaking during the months in the summer. Here in Alaska's heartland is Denali, what we talked about earlier, and a wide expanse of tundra. A forest teemed with wildlife ranging from the formidable grizzly to stately herds of caribou and a variety of wild birds. In the southwest, the temperature is somewhat more moderate considering how far north the area is. This area has a tremendous amount of variety, especially when considering precipitation. The north side of the Seaward Peninsula is technically a desert with less than 10 inches of precipitation a year. Here you'll see brown bears ambling along the hills and the plains, and nearly 230 bird species live here. Similar to Seattle, the south central area is mild by Alaskan standards, mostly due in part to its proximity to the coast. And while it doesn't get nearly as much rain as the southeast part of Alaska, it does get more snow, although the days tend to be clearer there. With over half of Alaska's population, due to the mountains and the lakes, it offers advantages of a remote wilderness. So if you're into fishing, Here's where you find some world-class trout and salmon shimmering in the rivers. And the southernmost region is the Inside Passage. This is the part of Alaska mostly visited by cruise ship due to its terrain. It's got rainforests, beautiful trees, misty days. The southern portions are both the wettest and the warmest parts in Alaska. The average monthly precipitation is generally highest in the autumn, especially in the areas that boast wildlife, fjords, and lush island scenery. It's great habitat for bald eagles, sea lions, porpoises, whales, all those great marine animals. So no matter where you go or the time of year you visit, Alaska is sure to leave a lasting impression. So next, let's take a deeper dive into the Inside Passage and the ports that may be visited on an Alaskan cruise. We'll start with Ketchikan.
Thank you so much, Diana. Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk about Ketchikan. So it is sometimes referred to as the first city in Alaska because it is the first port visited when heading north, but it's actually the 6th largest city in Alaska. In early 1900s, during the gold rush, fishing and timber industries were established, and now Ketchikan is known as the salmon capital of the world. It is set amidst the Tongass National Forest, a 17-acre rainforest, which happens to be the largest national forest in the U.S. Ketchikan spreads out over 10 miles of waterfront on the Tongass Narrows, which is a Y-shaped channel that's part of the Southeast Alaska's Inside Passage. There is lots to do when you visit Ketchikan. You can wander along a quaint historic creek street and enjoy some shopping or watch the salmon run. The Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show is a big hit for visitors, and they enjoy watching athletes show off the skills and tools used traditionally by those who work in the great conifer woods of Alaska. Have you seen the show Deadliest Catch? You can cruise on the Aleutian Ballad, which was on season 2 of that show, and learn about the world of commercial fishermen. If you prefer to do the fishing yourself, you can also take an authentic fishing tour on the southeastern coastline and enjoy a gourmet meal of your own catch at a remote campsite. If viewing wildlife is your cup of tea, Ketchikan has more than 250 species of birds, migrating humpback whales, orcas, sea lions, seals, doll porpoises, mountain goats, and black bears, which can be seen fishing in streams and browsing forested lands for berries. Misty Fjords National Monument is a must-see while visiting Ketchikan. The deep mountain valleys and ocean inlets were carved by glaciers thousands of years ago. Some people call this sea to summit magnificence Yosemite of the North. Please enjoy this video of a luxury cruise tour of the Misty Fjords.
It's hard to say what just one of the most fascinating things about the Misty Fjords Monument is. Absolutely everything has a meaning out here. The Misty Fjords National Monument is a wilderness that's been carved out by glaciers. We go 55 miles out of town to this heavily protected area of wilderness, all the way out there to see Rudyard Bay and Punchbowl Cove. This is where all the massive 3,000-foot vertical cliffs are. Spectacular scenery. Probably unparalleled anywhere else in the world.
But it's quite a mystery to geologists as to how New Eddystone rock is still standing here today.
Most people walk away from this trip with kind of an overwhelming sense of awe. What you see here is just so fascinating that you want to keep coming back.
Next, we're going to hit on Juneau, and that is when you're sailing north, typically it's your second port stop. So even though it is the state capital of Alaska, it's only accessed via plane or ship. No roads lead into Juneau. It's a haven for wildlife and a home to 280 different species of birds, 5 species of salmon, black and brown bears, and awe-inspiring humpback and orca whales. Juneau offers the perfect blend of extreme and relaxing activities for every visitor. Get your adrenaline pumping with a helicopter flight over Juneau Icefield on your way to a dog mushing camp. Here you can visit the dog kennels and stand on the runners of a dog sled for an exhilarating ride over the ice. The nearby Mendenhall Glacier is not to be missed, and there are multiple ways to experience this breathtaking glacier. Jump in a canoe or a 2-person kayak to view it from the water. See it from above on a helicopter, or go hands-on with a professional guided trek over the ice itself. Take in the beautiful sights on the Mount Roberts Tramway. Rising 1,800 feet up onto Mount Roberts, you can explore the Sky Bridge and Mountain House, do some alpine hiking, or walk the trails, and definitely see some amazing expansive views. But if something less exhilarating is more your style, hit the waters for the opportunity to view magnificent marine mammals on a whale watching cruise or fishing for the wild Alaskan salmon. Relive the gold rush history and try your luck panning for gold, then enjoy an authentic salmon bake. Here's a video showing you how you can experience the beautiful, serene, and breathtaking port of Juneau.
Holy cow, there's a lot to do. Whew. I'm Trish. I live in Texas. And I was really surprised, Diana, to hear you say that Alaska was bigger than Texas, because I honestly did not think anything could be bigger than the state of Texas. Man. I'm going to talk to you just a few seconds about glaciers. Glaciers cover around 28,000 square miles of Alaska. And as you saw before, it's the top reason people actually travel to Alaska. Have you ever wondered why glaciers are blue? We can see in these pictures that glaciers are blue. Red and yellow light waves are not able to be absorbed by all of this dense ice that's formed by this glacier, but somehow blue can. So it absorbs all of this blue, and this is how you see these ice formations as a spectacular, cool blue color. I just think it's amazing. Glaciers can be seen by a cruise ship or land tours, with many activities on land, such as you can take a rail tour, you can go hiking, so you can get up close and personal with its beauty and all of the wildlife that it contains and that Diana and Kim were speaking about. You can also visit the Glacier Bay National Park. That park is over 5,000 square miles of roaring glaciers, rugged mountains, and you'll have many opportunities to enjoy its beauty and learn its history. Again, when you're visiting Alaska, if you're doing it by a cruise ship, be sure and pick out the best side of that cruise ship, and we can help you with that. So you can just sit in your balcony view with your coffee in the morning and view these magnificent glaciers and wildlife as it goes by. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Skagway too. Skagway is part of the Klondike Gold Rush National Historic Park. If you've ever wanted to follow the path of a gold rush pioneer, Skagway is the gateway to the gold rush, established in 1898. No, I wasn't there at that time, contrary to what some people might think. Take a scenic vintage rail car tour, which follows the path of these pioneers as it winds around the granite mountains, across gorges, and past through tunnels. You'll enjoy a history lesson on this fully narrated trip. If you've ever dreamed of striking it rich by panning for gold, because I'm sure that's a thing still today, you can visit the city of Skagway or take a land tour, which will immerse you in this experience and let you pan for gold in the Klondike gold fields. You can book your rail trip round trip, or you can combine it with other activities which is available in Skagway. What about those cute little puppies? Who doesn't like cute little puppies? You can get up close and personal with the still working dog sled team at the Mushers Camp and even ride as if you were on the team. If trains are not your thing and you're more of the adventurous type, there's plenty of options for Jeep or hiking trails. You can walk across the Yukon Suspension Bridge 65 feet above raging rapids, hike down a path that was used during the gold rush, and you can end your tour with a relaxing raft float down the river, passing through different ecosystems of all of this beauty. Anybody up for ziplining across waterfalls? Well, more power to you, but I'll be on the one on the ground watching you while I'm visiting puppies and petting them and trying to see if they'll fit in my suitcase. Let's watch a video now that'll show you a little bit more about this amazing and historic city.
Climb aboard our Skagway White Pass Railroad Summit excursion and take an unforgettable journey on the scenic railway of the world. You'll enjoy vast canyon and river views while relaxing in your vintage passenger coach. Out the fully narrated journey, you'll follow the Skagway River and you'll pass by landmarks such as Bridal Veil Falls, Inspiration Point, and Dead Horse Gulch. This half-day tour is the perfect way for you to immerse yourself in a relaxing historical journey through time.
Located on an island in the Inside Passage, Icy Strait Point is a cruise-only destination, and it's not found on every itinerary. Surrounded by towering rainforest and the abundant waters of Port Frederick and Icy Strait, it offers unparalleled access to adventure, wildlife, wilderness, and genuine native Tlingit hospitality. Take a peek into the beautiful and diverse Alaskan wildlife, exploring the island in search of brown bears, bald eagles, and the Sitka black-tailed deer. Or set sail to view magnificent marine life, including whales, seals, sea lions, and porpoise. Make a journey on a traditional hand-carved 40-foot dugout canoe to the nearby Tlingit tribe in Juneau, a picturesque seaside community surrounded by wilderness and rich in culture and tradition. But now this one's for Trish. If you're looking for a one-of-a-kind experience and are not afraid of a bit of adrenaline, take a ride on the world's largest zip rider from the top of Juneau Mountain. You can race down one of 6 5,330-foot zip lines, dropping 1,330 feet. Not very far, not very high. But once you start, you'll quickly accelerate to speeds exceeding 60 miles an hour, all while soaring 300 feet above the rainforest below. Afterwards, you might want to stop in at Icy Strait Point Brewing and raise a glass of the local craft beer to your courage.
Let's talk now a little bit about Sitka. Sitka was the first and oldest city in Alaska. The United States purchased it from Russia in 1867, and at that time the purchase was taking place in Sitka, and Sitka was the first capital of Alaska before it became Juneau. Major Russian fur trading port was still there at that time in 1867, and the Tlingit Eskimo Indian tribe was also there. There's a cathedral there of St. Michael, was the first Orthodox cathedral in the New World. And looking at the pictures that you see now, the one top left there of the eagles in the tree, I remember the tour that we took out of Sitka going to see the whales. There was about 20 or more eagles, and they all were sitting in the tree, and every one of them seemed to be looking straight at us as we sailed out. It was quite a sight to see that many bald eagles in one spot. It was really very interesting and just really awe-inspiring to see that. Down below is the sea otters. And sea otters is, I'll tell you a little story about them, things that we learned while we were on the boat. Number one, they swim on they lay on their back at all times. And I've got a little poll I want to share with you guys that I'm going to launch now. And in that poll, it says, how many hairs per square inch are there on a sea otter? And I'll give you about 15, 20 seconds to answer that, and then I'll give you the actual answer of what it is. Okay, one person got it right. So I'll share that with you. It's 1 million hairs per square inch. Now, when you look at the sea otter laying there in the water on his back, the question comes up, well, why do they lay on their back? Why don't they swim like most animals do? Well, the only thing that does not have hair on their entire body are their paws. So in order to stay warm, they stay on their backs with their feet in the air. That's what keeps them warm. And that 1 million square inch of hairs throughout their body provides a protection that keeps the cold water off their skin. If you notice, there's a baby laying on the mother's chest there. And interesting story about that is you take that baby, and when the mother wants to feed it, she waits for it to fall asleep. She'll take it and set it on the water and let it float there. And she will dive down, get some shells and a rock so she can break the shells, come back up, take the baby, put it back on her chest, and at the same time break those shells and feed the baby. The key point to the whole thing of why this happens and why she has to do it quickly is because if the baby wakes up, the eagles will see it and will come and take it. So it's important that the mother gets things done quickly and takes care of their child. Next thing is the whale in the top right there. Humpback whale. It feeds on a certain type of fish in the water. And in order to get those fish to come to the top, it's called skrill actually is what they're called, they will swim on their back and let the sunlight reflect off their white fins so that the skrill will move to the top. And then when you see a humpback whale come out with his mouth fully open, he is taking in thousands of skrill at one time. So it's quite interesting to just learn those few things about them. And when you're out there watching the whales, they can't get within a mile, I think it's 100 yards of them. They're not allowed to, but if the whale swims by this boat, that's okay. So it was really interesting, and it's really something fun to do if you can go to Sitka and see that.
Now that we've covered the highlights of Alaska's cities and sites along the Inside Passage, I want to share with you some information about groups and the offers our team has for cruising the Inside Passage in Alaska in 2021. Groups provide the opportunity for discounted prices. How that works is that we set up groups early, getting the lowest prices for the sailing, and then you can take advantage of those prices when you book into the group. You will also receive additional perks such as onboard credits or a bottle of wine, as a couple of examples. These group discounts and perks are combinable with any other promotions provided by the suppliers and by Dream Vacations. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not traveling with a group. It's just my husband and I on this trip. Well, taking advantage of group bookings is not just for those traveling in a group. Individuals can also take advantage of group bookings. Our team will work to book other guests into the group booking so you can receive the group discounts and perks. As you can see on the screen, we have group offers for both round trip from Seattle and from Anchorage to Vancouver on Princess. We have covered the beginning of the summer in May and the end in August for either of these voyages. One thing I wanted to point out about the cruises from Anchorage to Vancouver is that they can be paired with several days on land and become a cruise tour, which we will discuss in our webinar tomorrow. We also have an offer on Celebrity with a round trip from Seward for the middle of the summer in July. If you want to know more detail about our group offers, you can find them on our website. On the home page, click on View Our Available Group Cruises. If you do not have our web address, we will place it in the chat window or we'll have it for you at the end of our presentation. Now, to add to the Alaska groups we have to offer, for a limited time, we are offering a special for any new Alaska booking on Princess that you make between July 1st through July 7th. Princess will provide you with a coupon book worth over $900 in onboard savings, such as discounts at specialty restaurants, shops, and even the spa. And you will pay a reduced deposit as low as $50 per person to book. In addition, our team will provide you with an onboard credit of up to $200, depending on the cabin type you select. This is a great deal, and we are here and ready to book your Alaskan cruise for you. Just give us a call. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you've enjoyed the information that we've shared. Now we'll move on to any questions you might have. Please just type them in the chat window if you haven't already done so, and Diana will triage them and provide any answers to your questions.
So Diana, do we have any?
I do not have any at this time.
Okay. So yes, if you look at our website, like Kim said, we've got a lot of stuff with cruises out there and many different ones. Alaska is our main promotion right now this week, starting as of tomorrow. We'll run that, as she mentioned, and stuff. Our phone numbers are here for those of you who want to contact us and stuff. And we'll hold on for a few minutes, see if there are any questions. And if not, then we will end the webinar.
No questions, but we got a comment that we did a great job. It was great to learn all the information.
Well, good. Thank you very much. And I hope tomorrow you will join us again as we deal now with the cruise tours. And we'll have a special guest with us, Stephanie Bronson, who will share a great deal on Princess and the different lodges and everything like that. And I think that is it. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
If you enjoyed our Supplier Spotlight series, please click to subscribe. We will be adding more Supplier Spotlight videos to our collection. Please enjoy our future videos as we add to our series.